Welcome to Remembering You, a space for slowing down, seeing again, and gathering the parts of yourself that the world asked you to forget.
Each week, we wander through stories, ancient, personal, and collective, to explore how perspective changes everything. How what we look at and how we look can open doors to who we truly are.
Take a breath, feel your feet.
You've arrived.
Let's begin remembering you.
Hello, my love.
Hi. The look on your face is delightful.
This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. I delight in your excitement.
So we have given pretty broad overview of our lives and our experience and what brought us to a point in our journeys where the path...
Our paths crossed.
Yeah, I was going to say we kind of blew up each other's lives.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we really did. We didn't intend to.
No, not at all. But it was a disruption on the level of, I would say it was on the level of something akin to an apocalypse.
Yeah.
For both of us.
Yeah.
In our own different ways.
Oh, yeah. That feels accurate.
Mm-hmm.
My mind immediately related the word apocalypse to pandemic. And of course we all lived through a pandemic. And I'm like, yeah, it was bigger than that. It's like, apocalypse is apocalyptic. It was,
Everything changes
in
in an apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So start us off. What were you thinking when you decided to get back onto a dating app?
Oh, God. Yeah. Honestly, I have no fucking idea. So I met you, like our first date was just a couple months after Bianca died, almost to the day, 2 months. And it's not like I wanted to be dating. It's very strange. In retrospect, I recognize that I don't really have words for it. And so the only way I can explain it is something like I was being animated from within by a force greater than myself. And I say that as a decades-long atheist. So, I'm certainly, I don't really fall in the atheist camp anymore, but I do still have like a big part of me that I hesitate. Like I very cautiously use any reference to a god or a force or the source from the ground of where all of us come from. I don't take any of that lightly. And there's still a part of me that's like, ooh, she's saying the spiritual words. Anyway, so it's something like that. Mm-hmm. Because it's not like I had a feeling of loneliness that I was wholly and entirely overwhelmed. My daughter just died and we'd been fighting brain tumors and, I just did it. I had an old dating profile on Facebook and so I just kind of reactivated. I didn't really have to do much to it. So I just kind of turned it back on and, just waited to see what would happen. and you popped in one day. Or I don't know who nudged who, but it doesn't really matter.
We matched.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an interest. I had been dating and had dated a couple people long, good stretches of time, and enough to find out that they were definitely not my people.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think each relationship that I had, there was a recognition that my heart still was not ready to be opened. It didn't mean that we didn't have chemistry on some level, and it didn't mean that there was a spark. I dated some brilliant and amazing and beautiful humans, and there came a point in each of those dating relationships where it was either mutual, or I could clearly see that, okay, my heart wants to be open to this human, but my nervous system is still not resting into this space. And I knew that there needed to be at least a willingness to entertain the risk of love again.
Oh, yeah.
And surrender to that vulnerability. And I knew it wasn't going to happen right away, but I have a very specific process of how I engage with my heart. And I was tracking, this isn't happening. And this isn't happening. It's still not happening. And yeah, it was my process. And I had to come to a place of, okay, I'm just going to own this, even though it was tough to describe and explain. And then we matched and we started communicating, and I realized, oh, there's a depth here to this person that I haven't necessarily found in other folks. And she understands and uses some of the same terms, and we had read similar people and were interested in similar things. And so
we kind of spoke the same language.
I was curious.
You were curious?
I was very curious. And you were kind of cryptic in your profile, that specifically in regards to having the loss of your daughter. Like,
it's not really something you put on a dating profile.
No, it wasn't out there. And I think I had it out on, that I worked in hospice and was somebody who engaged with grief and people, helping them process their experiences of loss. And so
I remember seeing that on your profile and thinking, oh, good, he'll understand if we ever get to the point where I'm talking about my life and at that kind of level. And we kind of went there real quick. How do we want to talk about how we came together, or what the beginning was like?
Say more.
Well, we could do the sequential thing where we talk about, well, here's what we did on our first date, and then this happened, and then that happened. And there's nothing wrong with that. I guess I will say, maybe it's just that I want to say, you are entirely different from any other human I've ever dated or been interested in. Like, me 5 years ago would have not been interested in you in the least.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I mean, not me interested in me, but me interested in you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, and it's really interesting when you listen to, like, in this experience of both of us telling our stories. I mean, I've always known we had really different growing up experiences and just like inner world experiences, but it kind of strikes me even more so just how different we are. And yet, it was so clear to me when almost from the very beginning that like, I mean, I remember the moment I fell in love with you. I think it was the second time. I think
Do
it was
tell.
really? I was living in that community house, and we would have Sunday dinners. You know, everybody in the house very intentionally made it a point to come together. We tried to be on time. And then there were some other folks who weren't living at the house that, I mean, it was sort of an open invitation. Anybody could come. And there was at least one or two people that showed up pretty frequently. And I think I invited you to a Sunday dinner. Because I remember
our second date.
Yeah, it was our second date. And I remember sitting there at the kitchen table, and you were sitting on my right, and you were, just talking away. I'm sure folks were asking you questions and, just trying to get to know you. And I remember sitting there looking at you, just listening to the words coming out of your mouth. And that was it. That there was just this like moment where I was like, this man, he's incredible. And when you left, my brother said to me, he's like, Carrie, Ryan's a really good guy. He's like, you don't date good guys. He's like, don't mess this up. He's like, he's really good. I was like, I'm not gonna mess it up. I was like, I know he's nice. He's nice. He's nicer than most men that I tend to be attracted to. So yeah. And you're happy, and you're you remind me of like candy or Disneyland or cartoons, or there's like a childlike innocence almost about you that is just really delightful.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember walking into that space, and you want to hear what I wrote that evening when I got home?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
So this is after our first family dinner together.
I've never heard this before. This is delightful.
I said, I feel my heart opening to Carrie. I could fall in love with her. She makes me smile. I admire her. She is someone I could learn from for the rest of my life. And then in bold, all caps, she is a great kisser. We had our first kiss that night.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
We had our first kiss that night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's lovely. So do you want to?
I feel my heart opening to Carrie. And so as somebody who lives from my heart, and like that is a way that I relate to my experience in big ways, for me to step into this space where I'm connecting with you and I'm also connecting with your community, it just was absolutely beautiful, and everything that I was looking for in that moment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What a treat.
Absolutely.
I wasn't expecting that.
So let's reverse the gears just a little bit.
Sure. Okay.
So second date, you were like, okay, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
Our first date, we're sitting across from each other.
Yep.
You're wearing all black, like you do.
Like I do.
I'm wearing a black turtleneck sweater and blue jeans.
Yeah. Very sharp.
And I'm just like, I like her style. She's fantastic. And the way that I experienced you on our first date in that little cafe on South Congress Avenue was guarded and a little bit distant.
Yeah.
which made sense to me on one level of the grief that you were still like squarely in the middle of experiencing. And there were also some levels that I was like, okay, I need to just note that some doors are open, but it's not like 100% open yet in our experience. And I think as we tell our story, that will make more sense as to what I was sensing and feeling at that time. But it didn't make me withdraw or hold back, because there was this could be my partner for the second half of life. But I'm not sure if my heart is going to be fully open yet. And so let's see what happens. That I was definitely holding things very loosely at our first date.
Yeah. I mean, it was a first date, so that feels appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a little weird if you were grabbing on real tight. I would have been even more guarded.
I didn't know that I knew yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I like that. That's a good way to put it. So do we want to talk about where I inadvertently blew up your world?
Yes, we talked about our first date.
Yeah.
Out of order, and then our second date. Our third date, before you inadvertently blew up my world.
Yep.
I cooked for you.
Yeah, you did.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. It's a funny story.
So the third date is always a big date, according to the dating experts. It's kind of like you're gonna have a feeling of one way or the other. Yeah. And at the second date, it was like, oh, okay, wow, things are moving along. And I'm like, well, maybe I can impress her and push her over the rest of the way with my cooking.
Yeah, you are a good cook.
So thank you. I invited you over for dinner, and I made eggplant parmesan and baked bread.
Yeah, fresh baked bread.
And I think I sauteed onions and mushrooms and yellow squash or something. And it was the most bland meal I'd ever made before. Because my little spidey sense, when I heard you say that you don't like spicy food, somehow I translated that you don't like a lot of seasoning.
No salt. No salt for you.
Nope. Although there was salt in the dipping oil that I had made.
Thank God.
The bread.
Yeah.
The
one saving grace.
So I don't know if you can picture eggplant parmesan that
with no seasoning
tastes awful. And she's eating it and smiling and being very gracious. And it wasn't until months later that you mentioned that
we got a good laugh out of that.
You like seasoning in your food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we figured out the mix up later. It was very silly.
And then we also laughed about the fact that it was a Freudian slip with the eggplant emoji being on our plate. And if you don't have the chemistry by the third date, then it's probably not going anywhere. So I was not. Okay, maybe I was. Yeah. That was our third date.
That was our third date.
It
was a good date.
It was great.
Despite the bland food.
It was.
We provided the seasoning. Ooh la la.
There was we had a lot of good spice going on. And I think it's also interesting to note, like, we were both in the way that we were being intentional we were also being cautious in how much time we were spending together. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
head over heels in love
Yeah.
into the love vortex.
No, I mean, I was very intentional is a good word, purposeful about, I'm not texting you too much. So I didn't talk about this on the kind of my story, but I had a kind of a longer term serious relationship end the October before. So this is February, and I had a pretty serious relationship end in October or end of September, something like that. And so I was brokenhearted on a couple of different levels.
Sure.
And I also didn't want to, like, one, I was in no rush, and two, there's something about you, like you have, well, I mean, you mentioned in your story, like you're an Eagle Scout and you are very principled, and you've had, you are like a walking structured organism. Like there is order and routine and like decades long ritual, and that's palpable. And it created in me, like it gave me the permission to just kind of rest. There was no like frenetic, I need to hurry up, I gotta like grab on. I mean, I just rested in whatever kind of space we were creating. And that was really nice. I wouldn't have really had words for that prior to this moment, I don't think. But
there was no grab.
no.
I didn't feel grab from you. You weren't desperate.
No.
And I was pretty sensitive to that because I had dated some folks that, like, there was intense grab. And then oftentimes behind that, there's control and codependence. And like, I was not interested
Same.
in getting into that. That was my first half of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That first marriage had to work through a whole lot of stuff along those lines.
Yeah.
So it was refreshing, to feel that in you. I guess to recognize that you were recognizing it in me and respecting.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted, hopefully you get to a point in your life where you're like, I wanted to, I don't want to say do the right thing. That's not the way to put it. It's like, it's like when you very clearly can see where things can go sideways. And so there's no desire to go down a path like that. It's like, it doesn't have any, it's not fun anymore.
No.
I certainly threw caution to the wind a lot in my 20s and 30s, and I was not interested in that kind of vibe. So we gelled well.
We did. So you introduced me to something that I had never experienced before. I dated someone who was a recreational, occasional smoker of weed. And so I had tried weed, and marijuana doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Just no interest really. And yet I had done some study and some reading along the lines of what are the benefits of psychedelics.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone who was doing psychedelics or had done, or I guess I knew people who had done psychedelics, but it wasn't something that was on my radar. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to do this as my next path forward in my spiritual evolution. But in my mind, there was this sense of I had experienced what we would define as I think, deeply spiritual experience through meditation.
Yeah.
Long periods of meditation, through vision quests.
Yeah.
As I spent days and weeks, sometimes in nature, alone, and just doing water kind of a thing, and had practiced fasting for years. And so, and then I had a period of time where I was doing breath work and had experienced altered states through that. And I'm really not I don't seek highs.
Yeah.
I'm not a thrill junkie.
No, not at all.
It's not
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, no, I'd rather cool, calm, collective.
I think your day-to-day experience is intense enough that
Low and slow
Yeah.
is what I crave.
yeah.
And yet I was curious
Yeah.
of what was out there, and I would say I hadn't considered psychedelics as something that I wanted to incorporate into my spiritual experience until I met you.
Yeah. Psychedelics is what is responsible for me being able to move out of the box of atheism. So, like, psychedelics was my doorway. So I had done a lot of psychedelics by the time I'd met you. So I suggested that, specifically Molly, MDMA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that's, in my opinion, it's a really good, safe way to start, assuming you don't have heart issues or aren't on SSRI. You know, there's, of course, all the cautions that come along with MDMA because it's not, and it's actually not even technically a psychedelic, but it'll definitely give you an altered state of consciousness.
So in that space that you were like, let's create a little experience for the two of us.
Yeah.
And we were in your room on your bed. And I remember you had some music playing quietly in the background. And I remember coming up on the medicine, on MDMA, and it was like a rocket ship. Like within 20 minutes, all of a sudden, I was letting go, and there was this inner experience of like every layer of who I am kind of dropping away. And before I knew it, I got to the ground and the bottom of who I am in my experience. And it's all love. And so my response was to turn on my side as I was laying on my back next to you in bed and just like professing my love for you.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm going to marry you.
Yep.
Will you marry me? And I remember you were giggling just like that. And you were blushing just like that.
I am blushing.
And then I didn't come down from that.
That was it. It was all over.
It was just like, oh, okay. So reflecting on the other side, the way that I would talk about that experience is my heart was still very guarded. And for me to come to a place of being wholeheartedly into you with no reserves, it was like instantaneous. I went from 0 to 60, and
Sounds like Molly.
and it was delightful.
Yeah.
And then I didn't come down from that. I came down from the experience of being high
Sure. Yeah.
on medicine, but my internal landscape was blown out, like no definition, no sense of boundaries, no sense of self, center, or ground. And at first I didn't know, I didn't have words for what I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And my assumption was based on things I had read and other people's testimonies who had had bad experiences with psychedelics, that like it was a horror show, and it wasn't a horror show. Like there was no fear in that.
You mean like on the trip?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because there was a horror show kind of later.
Well, we're getting there.
Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure.
Molly was terrific until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't for weeks and then months on the other side that physiologically my nervous system could not handle that sense of being wide open all the time and unable to dial back how much I was letting in from the energies around me and other people's emotion, let alone the different fields and planes that I was just kind of blowing into and out without
so interesting.
understanding why. And I couldn't, I had zero control.
Yeah. Can I tell a story
Please
about
do.
that?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes so for context, we ended up doing a whole lot of psychedelics that first year. So that was not our only trip. But even sometimes when we were sober, we'd be in a conversation, about anything. What do you want for dinner? I mean, it could be something very mundane. And then you would just, I would call it word salad, but like your word, I mean, sometimes they weren't even like English.
It was gibberish.
It was just, it would. So I didn't yet understand the depth of your spiritual experience, because I was just barely myself opened up into something that is beyond, this 3-dimensional things I can touch and taste and smell and, test in a scientific tube. Even like my experience of Bianca when she sort of transformed into her little Buddha, now I have a whole lot more understanding about what it was I experienced. But then it felt like magic, really.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I had a number of experiences right before she died that kind of felt like magic, but now I get it. So like I didn't understand what was happening with you. And so, like sometimes you just get sucked away off into another plane of existence in a sense. And you were speaking, and sometimes you would speak like actual English. And then I thought you were talking to me, but you were talking to, you know, whoever or whatever you were in another dimension with, kind of, in a way. I don't quite know how else to put it. And I know all of this sounds very fantastical, but like, you are entirely sane. You know, like, this isn't a psychotic break.
Although it felt like a psychotic break.
Yeah. I can't even really imagine, honestly.
One way to describe, so I would attune energetically to, you were Carrie at the time.
Yeah.
Because I could not relate to other people within a context that there weren't very clear and cut boundaries. Like, I was able to continue to work and interact with folks in a way that was still, it was healthy and it was productive, and I was able to provide good care for the people that I was serving and supporting. But that was because I had a time that it started and a time that it ended. And I had very clear guidelines as to, when I'm with this patient, I am talking about how they find meaning in their life.
Yeah.
And where their hope is. And so I was able to focus and narrow things down into such a clear, it was for me, it was cut and dry and felt safe. And then when we would go places socially or be with friends in the community, all of a sudden there were no guidelines.
Right.
And so energetically, I would connect to you and your emotional experience of that person or that situation setting, and I would just follow that.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly unhealthy long term.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's called enmeshment.
Yeah. Not a good thing.
But it makes sense, given that.
It was the only way that I could cope
in
that situation.
And like, I also want to name for folks that, I mean, you were having panic attacks sometimes. Sometimes there would be vomiting.
It was awful.
It was, I mean, when I, like, your whole, does it feel accurate to say that, like, the way that you just make sense of yourself and the world was completely upended?
Yes.
Okay.
From a spiritual perspective, I would describe it as a dark night of the soul.
Yeah. In
that I was unable to find my higher power or sense of God or sense of ground or mooring. And all of a sudden I was relating to everything without boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How long did it last?
It was well over a year.
Yeah. It was kind of hell.
It was pretty rough.
I also, the only model that I had for making sense of, you know, why somebody is experiencing something that's painful or difficult is the model that I was given from Western psychology and like trauma. And I remember I thought, like, this is just so but the partner that I was with before was deeply traumatized and had a really painful past. And so I was kind of used to chaos in a sense. And, you know, my daughter's brain tumors, like, that's no small joke. And her dad was abusive. And so, like, trauma is familiar to me. And as a coach, you know, at work, like, just nearly every person you meet has something in their past that's painful. And I kept trying to use that as a way to make sense of your experience, which I think was probably really painful for you.
It was.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to like really recognize that, oh, like this way of making sense of it, like this isn't it. This puzzle piece does not fit into this landscape at all. I have better, I don't know that I have great words. It's a hard thing to put into words. I have a better understanding now of what your experience was then and is now still too.
The way that I would describe it is I was able, through meditation and through breath work and through fasting and long periods of silence and solitude, to enter into a spiritual space and a spiritual experience. But it was always a slow process of getting there. And I was always able to come back. And so MDMA was an experience of pushing me along that path. And then all of a sudden, the path was totally gone. And so I had no way to retrace my steps back into my sense of self. And so my ego was blown out, and then there was no definition of who I am and what my life is, literally what it is.
Yeah.
And so it was a state that I had been able to get to in the past, but it was always something that I could step back slowly out of because I would step into it slowly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for the guardrails to be totally gone, it was just like the void. And I was in the void for a long-term experience. Yeah, it was pretty miserable. You were very gracious and kind and held space for me, because in that time frame we were getting married.
Yeah.
Like 3 months later. I'm sorry, 6 months later. And I officially proposed like 3 months later. And then 3 months after that, we got married.
Yeah.
And then we started going through a process of some pretty intense dynamics within the community.
Yeah.
And it was a rough year.
It was awful. And beautiful and lovely. I mean, but no, I mean, it was really, really, really painful. Now that you're on the other side of it, like, do you think of it as an initiation of sorts? Yeah.
I'm shaking my head, yes.
Yeah.
I would say it was an initiation into non-duality
Yeah.
in a way that
Yeah.
I thought was going to be pretty sexy when I was able to like tiptoe up to the edge.
Yeah.
But when the cosmic hand comes up behind you as you're looking over the cliff, and all of a sudden it flicks you off into boundless and endless spaciousness, like,
It's awful.
that's amazing. So we had a meditation teacher for 2 years, and he would talk about your heart being open and wide and spacious. And there were moments where I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to go there. Like, I know what that's like. And I am working on having clear inner boundaries and a sense of self, and not being blown out energetically and undefinable in my inner experience. My therapist was great holding space for me, and he came to a point where he was like, Ryan, this is a spiritual experience that you're having, and like, talk therapy is not going to help you.
No.
And I was pretty frank with him, and I'm like, I could have told you that, like, but I just got married and I really want to make this work, and like, I don't know myself, and this isn't an experience that I was looking for. So it was a surprise. It was a shock.
Yeah.
I sat down with some really amazing and beautiful people who do counseling and work with and around mind-altering substances, and have a lot of respect for them. I got some good advice, and some things just didn't land and wasn't helpful. And yeah, it was a trust the process in some pretty big ways.
I assume there's really not much to be done in a situation like that. Like, it's not like, do this breathwork practice every day and make sure you get your X minutes of meditation. Like, it's not like there's a prescription somebody could have handed you.
No, yeah, it is continuing to be a process of my active surrender to a reality that's bigger than I am, and I'm a part of it. And so as a mystic, I would say that there are opportunities for me every day to recognize that I am a drop in the ocean, and I am the ocean holding a drop. And if that doesn't make any sense, that's okay, because it's something that is a felt experience, and it's it can come and go. It's nice now on the other side, and having some ways to cope and rest and practices to surrender and not allow my nervous system to just be kind of flopping around in the wind without any literally context for anything. That, and then also I have some good people in my life who are also highly sensitive folks, and who have taken time to listen and feel my story. And so I am able to communicate with people, and there's a sense of being heard and being felt, and that's okay. And one of my daily practices is, after I come home from work, I greet you, we exchange a kiss and a hug. You ask how my day was, I tell you how my day was. I ask how your day was, you share about your day, and then I'm going to disappear for a while.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to be with you, it's because I want to be with you, and I can't until I have some pretty solid time in nature, letting go and resting into some of my nature-based practices, a sense of prayer and connection with what I would say Christ, with Jesus in my heart, and allowing what is true to be present, and all of the energy that I picked up from the day, all the pain and suffering, to allow myself to disconnect and separate from that. And that's a daily practice that I have to do to be clean and healthy and whole on the inside.
Yeah. Spiritual hygiene, in a way. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So here we are. You ruined me with your drugs.
The Republicans were right all along.
I'm telling you. Say no, kids. Say no. So after taking Molly for the first time and experiencing a really profound destabilization, we you introduced me to psilocybin mushrooms and 2CB and LSD and ketamine.
Yeah.
And like each of these substances have really powerful effects in giving us an opportunity to see and experience life from a different perspective. And if I was hearing myself 5 years ago, 10 years ago saying this, I would be like, nope. I would never have said that.
Of course.
But if seeing is believing, then I am a believer.
Yeah.
And whenever people bring up psychedelics, I always have a huge proceed with caution because like it's messing with your neurochemistry. And although the risks are pretty minimal, there are things that can happen. And
they're not non-zero.
Nope.
Well, it's like our meditation teacher for that couple of years. I liked the way he framed it. You know, it opens up the heavens and it also opens up the basement. And sometimes you get both at the same time. And it's that. I mean, that is my most of my trips have been like there's almost always an element of them that are hard and painful. And I've had experiences where it's like, this is too much. Like, I don't know how to hold this. And holy shit, I'm on with LSD, it's a 10-hour ride, 8 or 10. And it's like, there's no out. You can't just like turn it off. I mean, you just gotta, it's a marathon. So anyway, but it's always worth it in my experience. I mean, and I was really fortunate to be in that community because, like, for example, I learned most of how to relate to psychedelics through a therapist who administers psychedelics professionally. And everybody was like, it was always within, we're going to have an intention, please make sure you meditated ahead of time to really like kind of connect with yourself. Like, what is it within you that you want to explore? What are you open to? And then we would share that as a group. And somebody was always attuning to like, what is the music in the background? And there's going to be plenty of blankets and pillows, and we're going to make sure. So it was like, I had just this little nest to fall into. And so I learned how to use psychedelics in a really healthy container. So it's not like I was just figuring it out on my own. And that is ideal.
Absolutely. Set and setting.
Yeah, as they say, set and setting. Absolutely. Makes all the difference in the world, which is actually an interesting little hint about the nature of reality. But
that it is.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many little stories we could dive into and rabbit trails we could follow, but those will flush out in the future. What feels...
Well, I don't want to get much into how we came to be here in this house, other than just to say, I think both of us were changing in way, like our coming together created a kind of alchemy within both of us as individuals that then made my being in that community rather untenable. It just didn't, and it's not to say that, I mean, I still love every human there dearly and I think the world of them, but I don't want to live with them. And I don't even really see many of them regularly anymore. Like it was important for me to completely step away from that community, not like in a, no contact, I can't talk to you, you're terrible. Nothing dramatic like that. So it was a huge loss because, I mean, they were the community that I woke up in. And they held me and my daughter through that enormous transition. And I would not be who I am without them. And yet at the same time, I had to let it go. And in the same way that I had to let go of Bianca. And so it was like a lot of really big loss in a rather short period of time.
I think it's important to note that Curtis was also kind of a part of the three of us are leaving and finding a new place to land and move forward. And he was with us for good chunk of a year as we found a new forest to live in and settled, and the energy that we were able to create in our new world was able to nourish some parts of ourselves that needed some nourishment, and that we couldn't create within a community. It was something that needed to be outside of a already structured and well-worn path that no longer was serving who we were in the process of becoming.
I needed, it's so strange. Like if you had looked at my calendar before I met you, I mean, I was out of the house doing something, hanging out with people almost every single day of the week. I mean, I like social butterfly does not quite capture the extensiveness of my, I needed to be with people, doing things, having experiences, beautiful, deep conversations, exploring consciousness and life and love and everything that there is. And then I met you. Well, Bianca died and I met you, and it was just a complete 180. And suddenly I could not get enough alone time, and I could not find enough slowness and stillness. Like I kept, I initially thought I just kind of needed to take a break for a bit, maybe sort of like you go on vacation to sort of recharge your batteries when you're too tired. But no, I don't think I really appreciated it at first, just how deep this well goes. And I'm still finding, I don't know that I've hit the bottom of it. I'm still on the way down.
Yep. You are, and it's beautiful. So I think it's important to name that as two very unique individuals in the second half of their lives who have very worn paths from their way of making sense and finding meaning in the world come together, that there are moments where we are like oil and water. Or maybe baking soda and vinegar is a better way to put it.
Yeah. It's not always happy-go-lucky, folks.
So in my first half of life, there was a spiritual bypassing where I would do these mental gymnastics of saying, I don't like this right now, but I'm just going to swallow it because I'm the man and it's my responsibility to be the one who takes the heavy load. And so I'm just going to swallow my experience for her sake and sacrifice myself, which is codependent AF and not honoring to my experience. So being with a partner who is not afraid to express what your experiences are and in a way that doesn't demand for me to somehow be co-opted by your experience. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. So both of us, and sometimes our dynamic is such that we both feel the pull of codependence
It's an old, well-worn groove.
because of those patterns in our
Yeah.
past,
Yeah.
that we will actually go the opposite direction.
Yeah, we like overcorrect.
just a wee little bit, and that can be challenging in and of itself.
Yeah.
And we are not ashamed of the process. And again, that's another part in my story where if there was anything that was somehow subpar and it wasn't Christ-like, or it wasn't like part of the fruit of the Holy Spirit, then it meant that there was something intrinsically wrong. The devil had taken foot in my life. And, you know, pretty soon my wife and my kids were going to be following the way of
That's
damnation.
awful.
Like,
God, that's awful.
yeah, not exactly a healthy or positive thing to have internalized.
Wow. Yeah, I have been learning a 3 year long journey with boundaries, and I don't think I recognized just how so much prior to meeting you. So I think every relationship is a mirror, and you know, every very often, you know, when we meet somebody, they make us, we think to ourselves like, oh, they're making me feel this certain kind of way, and so therefore it's about them. And when most often it's us. Like,
Sure.
There's something within us that is reacting to them, and so that kind of just very natural human dynamic for me with you has been my insecurity about myself gets all messified, like very confused when I'm not sure where you are, or if you're okay, or like if you've gone kind of quiet, or if I can feel or sometimes I think like you've pulled back, or that's my experience of it, when actually you really, I mean, sometimes you do genuinely pull back. Absolutely. But like, I think sometimes you also, like, you're still right here energetically in the same way that you have always been. And I'm experiencing this huge gulf all of a sudden. And I'm only just kind of starting to figure out that, like, no, girl, that's your insecurity. He ain't going anywhere. He's right here. That's just your own flailing. And, you know, I've had to learn how to hold myself, because I think society teaches women that we should be rescued. We should be held, you know. I mean, watch any Disney princess movie from, you know, some of the more recent ones are not nearly so sexist, but there is this like expectation that's deeply unconscious. And it's paradoxically my rebel that so deeply has held me my entire life. Like, as I let that part of me, you know, lay down their arms and stop fighting so hard, that means I have to develop a sense of self that is like a competent adult, you know, a very grounded, centered, mature, and wise adult that has really big arms and can just very firmly hold myself, and not look to you to do that for me. And I might know all of that cognitively, but experientially, I am,
Sure.
you know, just freaking the fuck out. And it's awful. But all there is to do is just be present to it. I mean, that's it. That it's just, can I just stay? It's like it, and I think I learned how to do that really well in my psychedelic trips. Like anytime something hard is coming up, you know, all of the usual defenses are not really there and available to you when you're sober. And so I can't do the dissociative, I'm just going to look away and I don't know, maybe play a cute little game on my phone or something to distract myself. It's like, and so when I feel conflict with you, it's important for me to just sit with it, even though it feels like I'm dying.
Yeah. And I think one of the ways that I have learned to support you in that is through touch, one of your love languages, because
So good.
there are moments when I'm in my superpower and energetically I'm filling a room and you're in the room. And so my assumption is that you're tracking the fact that I'm all around you right now.
Nope.
And
Nope.
there are times where I am just, you get that moment of impulse of, okay, I just need to put my hand on the small of her back and just let her know that I'm supporting her in her grounding in that moment.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of our first experience together with MDMA. And one of my fears was that I wouldn't be able to be in control. So you mentioned that all of our defenses kind of melt away within medicine space.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful thing. And I also find my sense of self in really clear and strong boundaries. And so the idea of taking a substance and, like, I'm not interested in, like, alcohol. It is not something that I enjoy pushing the limits with, because I don't want to feel in that space. And so knowing all of that, when we did MDMA for the first time together, I felt that falling away of all of my coping strategies or ways I distract from life and experience. And yet I still was able to direct my attentional system.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember there was a time where we both were laying there and I was way out there in the ether, and then you said something and I felt the ability with my attentional system to give you my full undivided attention. And as you began to talk about some things that were very deep and painful in your experience, I remember doing what I do with patients and just watching their respirations energetically. What is their body doing? What am I feeling? And I was able to use all of those skills that I use in my everyday life
Mm-hmm.
as a hospice chaplain and grief counselor in a moment when you were being vulnerable and I needed to hold space.
Mm.
And so it was also delightful to be able to see and to feel you and your experience in a new way where I didn't have a lot of the filters that I always had in my experience. And I remember, I look back at my journal before we sat down here today, and at one point during that time, I placed my hand on your chest and just started reflecting back to you what I was seeing and what I was sensing. And I see a lot of different pictures in my experience. And so I just started reflecting the pictures that were literally flying through my experience that were coming from your heart space.
Oh.
And just being able to reflect that back to you. And then after you felt and experienced what you needed to feel and experience, then we just kind of had some time of quiet, and then I could feel you attuning to me in that space. And your heart was wide open, and I remember just having that stream of consciousness that was kind of floating through and feeling you hold me and being able to express my pain and my trauma and my experience, and it was safe, and then letting all of that go and getting back into the ride of MDMA. And like it was this kind of dance in and out of experience between one another that I had never felt on that level and that amount of time with someone that I was falling madly in love with. And that I also admired and trusted your skill set and the wisdom that you brought into our connection.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So if there was a word or a few words to kind of summarize this season of your life, obviously we're on the other side of the threshold. The liminal space was pretty intense for a year, my experience, but then also I think it was you were also being jarred in your world. How would you describe, at least right now, these initial years for us together, where we are today?
Like the last 3 years? Gosh, that's a good question.
You mentioned slowing down.
Yeah.
I think on the surface, that is something that's visible or recognizable.
Yeah.
Because you've had other people in your life point at it as if it is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I scared a lot of people, or confused a lot of people, or hurt a lot of people with my distance, and my kind of like disengagement. I tried the best I could to reassure them that it wasn't about them. Like, it wasn't personal.
And that it wasn't going to be forever.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But it has lasted a whole hell of a lot longer than I expected it to. So, this is a hard one to put into words.
Take your time.
Yeah. I think the best way I know how to describe it is my need to disengage and slow down has gone even as far as my career. Like that's kind of a doorway into talking about this. I worked at Dell and I was doing leadership development there and I was a coach and, I'd been working there for 6 years almost. And so got to know some of the senior leaders and all their teams really well. And, they'd have some kind of problem or have a question or just want to do like how do we as a team communicate better? And, so I'd get called on to kind of hold some really big space, like people, the average person is in an enormous amount of pain. Just walking out and around in the world. People's experiences are really intense. And I was no different. I mean, mine was too. And as AI started to really blow up everybody's world, it just got too big for me to handle and hold. Like I remember a conversation we had where you asked me, is there like a spiritual being that you can, use as like an archetype of sorts that you can kind of tap into and attune to help you hold. And I just instantly knew the answer was no. And I was like, yeah, I've got a couple little statues on an altar in my office. And I was like, neither of those two are big enough for this. Like this is, it needs God itself, so to say. Like it's beyond. And I don't, and I also had no plan. Like, it's not like I had another job lined up. I just knew that I needed to leave that space, and I'm fortunate enough that I've got a nice 401k, and Dell had matched, the amount that I had been putting into my 401k for the whole time I was there, and plus I had some restricted stock that had vested, and so it's like I had a nice little chunk that I could take to just slow down even more. And so our space has given me, like, again, like our alchemy creates something that I never could have created just by myself. And also this forest and, this space that we live in. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And that has been a huge part of my journey as well. And so I just need to sit under a tree as much as possible, and I haven't really. I kind of took a break from psychedelics for I don't know, year and a half. And my body has been going through a lot. I've had a lot of not really, I guess, medical issues. I mean, nothing like I don't have cancer or anything like that, but going through perimenopause, and that's quite a ride. But also other things that, like, there's no, and I'm not interested in, I went to, I don't know, like right about the time I met you, after Bianca died, I started getting all these ulcers in my mouth, and the corners of my lips would crack, and my lips themselves would crack. And I mean, my tongue felt like it was burned 24/7. It was like that for 18 months. And, I went to a whole bunch of specialists, and, they ran tests and blood work, and they all were just like, we don't know. Like, we don't have any idea. Of course, they suggested, oh, go on steroids. And it's like, no, fuck you. That's not a solution. Like, that's just a Band-Aid. And so I guess in a lot of ways, I'm not interested in Band-Aids. I want to get to the root of my experience. So I am just in the slowing down. I'm figuring out how to not constantly distract myself. I've wrestled with my alcohol addiction. I didn't even really recognize that I had a substance abuse problem with alcohol. I definitely did. Was absolutely an alcoholic. And I've been sober now for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the craving is no longer there. It pops up a little bit every once in a while, and it feels a little bit like swatting away a mosquito. It's very, it's just kind of like annoying. It's not all consuming like it used to be. So I've kind of been in a process of like, what happens when I strip away all of my coping strategies, all of my distractions, all of my unhealthy thinking and feeling and ways of relating. And I don't even like to use the phrase unhealthy. It's really more just, if I plant a weed in the ground, I'm going to proliferate weeds in my life. Whereas I am learning how to cultivate a wide, biodiverse inner landscape. And that requires some new skills that I don't know any other way than to just start to get real slow and painfully honest. So
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
it's a good way to describe where we are. So as I asked the question, I was reminded of a text conversation that we had within the first month and a half of our Genesis. And we use the metaphor because the metaphor of the ocean and waves.
Oh yeah.
Because on that first Molly MDMA trip, I experienced you as the ocean. And so there was a reflection kind of back and forth via text after we went our separate ways after that first time together. And I thought it might be fun to read that back and forth.
Yeah.
And so you sent me an emoji, and that is the emoji.
Oh yeah, the
Describe
wave. It's the ocean wave emoji. It looks very Japanese. I've always loved that that one.
And my response was, "Yes, you are. May I be so bold to say, the only ocean I want to swim in, watch the sun sparkle and dance upon, and the spray I want to feel in the breeze on my face."
And then I said, "Then come in and play, sweet man. The water is warm and there are treasures in her depths."
I love it.
So good.
My text response says, yes, yes, yes. I step in, the waves are mighty, and they flow around my feet. The waves are mystery, and they embrace my legs. And the waves are warm and cleansing, and they wash away my core, and I am clean. I take a deep breath, and you move me up and down, back and forth. The flow, the rhythm, the pause of all life. You are my ocean. My body is tingling all over.
And I said, Jesus, you take my breath away in the very best way possible. Yeah. Oh, you have a way with words. It's absolutely delightful. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's a little bit of how we have come to this moment in our lives of expressing and sharing and holding and giving and saying yes to what is true. Thanks for being with us in this journey as our friends listening in on our conversations. We treasure you and value your feedback and input and experiences. Thank you for sharing in the ways that you were sharing.
Yes. Thank you. That was beautifully said. It's been great. I'm looking forward to many more.
We have only yet begun.
Till next time.
Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye for now.